And sadly, last morning on trail for a while. There we go. I figured I'd get to see sunrise if I was out on this ridge. The other nice thing out here is due to the leaves, I've been able to hear the deer and things moving around all night, which was kind of nice. That was a really nice sunrise and coffee time, but I am struggling to focus on my edit anymore, so I think I'm going to start moseying down towards the knock. So I am right on top of what is labeled as the jump up on Far Out. I only vaguely remember this section. I know I camped somewhere along the way here, but other than a pretty sunset, I don't really remember much about it. So just about 5 miles down into the knock, and then it's all done except for the ticker tape parade, as they say. See, if Blondie was with me, that I would have said something completely inappropriate and quite possibly obscene in an attempt to make her laugh, which she would have, which would only encourage me to be, less family appropriate than I already am. All these leaves can be almost as precarious as that snow the other day when going down. I've had so many little slips and falls. Maybe that was the campsite it was talking about on Far Out. Oh well. So the guy I talked to yesterday was out here practicing with his winter gear for his February AT start. And he really did not time this correctly. Last night was, once again, post-snowstorm, really just mild and pleasant. Didn't even need all my layers, didn't have to have gloves in the morning to do my edits. It would be a lot easier to be coming off trail if that snowstorm had just extended another day or two. I am just really happy with how this fall went. As much as it's a bummer to be leaving at only 1,000 miles. I mean, my trail legs only kick in after about, 500 or so. It has felt good to just get out, stretch my legs. And the fact that I started with the long trail, which pushed me so hard to the point where I was just kind of subsuming myself and, pushing day after day as hard as I could through the rain and everything, just makes me feel a lot more confident. I was just messaging with Jen, sending her some sunrise pictures and telling her how much I was looking forward to seeing her, and we have, fun adventures and everything up ahead, but how bummed I was to be leaving trail for even just a couple of months. Because I just feel so much happier and more myself out here versus usually long periods during the off season. I end up struggling to make it through the day, no matter what things I seem to try. So as far as the trails that made up this little mini season, I mean, there was a couple hundred miles in the Sierra, but that's old hat to me. Then the Vermont Long Trail southbound, the Bent McKay southbound, the Foothills Trail westbound, I guess, and then the Bartram west/northbound. I'm not sure how that trail counts it. I don't really know what my favorite was because all of them kind of had pluses or minuses. I absolutely loved the north end of the long trail. It was the hardest thing, but I mean, kind of similar to the north end of the AT. I just love the terrain around that part of the country, the kind of rugged mountains and views and everything, and the way some of the forests are. So I really like that, but the southern 100 miles along the AT were kind of a bummer in a lot of ways. At least until the Massachusetts border in Greylock. That was really cool. That trail should totally officially end at Greylock because it's a cooler finish. I also really like the Bent McKay. That one I was able to get kind of more of a regular tempo and relax and through hike more versus the long trail was more of a constant struggle, I guess. That one though, the Smokies section was kind of a bummer. If I had started that trail from Fontana, I would have less reservations. But overall, really cool trail. It's in good shape. Had a reasonable amount of views and variations and all of that. I really liked the area right around the river, south of that fly and tackle shop in Reliance. And yeah, it just felt really good being out in that AT-like terrain again without all the crowds. The Foothills Trail was pretty, the waterfalls were awesome. Wasn't exactly my favorite of the bunch though. And I think a lot of that is just the length. By the time, it's kind of the same with the Lone Star Trail, which is like 20 miles longer than the Foothills Trail, I think. It was just too short to really kind of settle in. And I always enjoy that state of being on trail where I feel like I'm in the middle of something and I'm not having to, I don't feel like I've just started and I don't feel like I'm counting down to the end. And the wooden steps were kind of a knee beater. There were a lot of crowds. So I actually enjoyed the Bartram more than the Foothills Trail, though I am still convinced that they should just join those two trails, call it the Footram. You know, that way you get the waterfalls in the northern section and you continue on, and then this trail has more waterfalls, better hiking, etc., etc. So yeah, I kind of have a hard time rating favorites just because I enjoy being out and I tend to appreciate different things about all the trails. I mean, somebody was just messaging me about my hike on the Florida Trail back in 21 and about how that trail wasn't very kind to me at the time. And yeah, I mean, it was a struggle, but it was also just a really cool, memorable trail. You know, the Condor Trail, also very rough on me, but really pretty and unique and memorable. So yeah, I'm weird like that, I guess. It was nice getting to see some of these areas in fall since I came through in spring, summer before. I will say the fall colors are cool. I mean, the peak days, like leaving the inn at the Long Trail and that Whitewater waterfall on the Foothills Trail, that was really spectacular. Overall, though, I found myself kind of reminiscing fondly about spring just because more critters, more water, the greenery and the foliage just made it feel like I was hiking through a jungle. The hiking was harder in a lot of ways there because of, you know, the combination of rain, humidity, ticks, and all of that. I have lucked out so much on this little mini season because while I had a few rainstorms and, you know, a few times when it got cold, this has mostly been idyllic. I mean, like right now is about the easiest time I can remember having on the AT. It's not quite out west dry, but it's relatively dry. It is warm. I'm having easy access to campsites and things. Temperature, it has not gotten down to what I would call really cold this entire time. I mean, even the day in the snow. I generally consider it really cold if I don't have anything covering my face and I go out and it hurts, or if I breathe in and I can feel my nose hairs freezing. You know, that's kind of the divider line for me. But overall, it was just nice getting back out here again. And it was spaced out pretty well from my first hike out east, the big one in 21. And I mean, like most of this year, even when things have been bad, it's kind of worked out. I was able to rehab the foot. I've been able to make reasonable mileage without being overly rushed here. I was able to kind of prove to myself that I'm capable of hiking at a reasonable speed still. And seriously, the reason why I was able to do the foothills and the Bartram Trail is there were big indicators that there might be risk of another like HSP flare-up that would require me to go back on prednisone, which would require me to come off trail for a week or two. So I tried to pick something where I wasn't tight at all because I didn't want to have yet another medical complication mess things up and have me leave a trail incomplete. For now, in less than a week, I will be on a small island off the coast of Venezuela, Bonaire, scuba diving for about a week, which will unfortunately have the side effect of completely demolishing my hard-won foot calluses. Every year, my feet build up, and then I go scuba diving in the off-season, and after a day of touching salt water, I get these wimpy, pink feet, and then I have to go through all that suffering again. I am just really looking forward to those scuba diving trips, though. If you've never done it, it is the closest thing you can get to flying. You basically weight yourself down and use the air to make yourself neutrally buoyant so you can move around in this 3D space. Some of the stuff we did in Indonesia, where there was this underlying ridgeline we were swimming along, it's like flying, and then you've got masses of fish that are just kind of moving around, mostly not caring that you're there or not. And just the sense of scale, it barely comes through on the videos. I waited a long time to get scuba certified because of the cost, and I'm very happy that I finally did. Sadly, this will probably be the last of the big trips for a little while, just due to all the economic issues around the medical crisis and both of our vehicles dying within such a short period. But hopefully we'll be able to get back to it and continue doing at least something. Because similar to hiking, it is something that you can lose due to medical issues. A good friend of mine that I used to dive around Orange County with a lot for a year or two there has had some medical stuff going on, and his doctors will not let him dive again. The pressure and everything does some weird stuff to you. It's kind of similar to how going up to altitude does weird things to you. So, you know, got to do as much as you can, as long as you can. And the struggle is that whole how much we can do, I guess. I keep telling Jen, she's around town so much, you know, she does have a spare kidney. The organ market out of China has to be worth, you know, at least a couple of scuba trips. But though in all honesty, even if she was like, oh yeah, sure, take the kidney, let's go get a Raja Ampat for like 2 months, I wouldn't be able to do it. I was so heartbroken seeing her in the hospital just overnight for her little medical thing a couple of months ago. Partially because I think I just had some major PTSD from my hospital stay, but like, she was fine, bounced in, got her surgery, was in a little bit of pain, but came back strong really, really quickly. And I was just waiting on her hand and foot, just on edge the entire time at the hospital. I'm just the wimpy one. Jen and I both get a lot of joy out of seeing pictures pop up from the last couple of years and just being blown away at all the things that we have managed to do and just how happy all the adventures are. Heck, I mean, even the medical nightmare this spring, we made the best of it. You know, we were together. We've got, as Shia says, you know, we got each other till the bitter end, and we were able to find a cool place and enjoy the couple of months together, which is unusual, to be in a place and not have to be constantly on the run, and get out of it what we could. And after the first of the year, we are going to be back for 3 months at that same cabin with the view we were at last year before all the medical stuff got so bad, out near Ramona. So that will be fun. We won't be together, you know, for the entire week like we were during the illness period, but we're pretty good about doing as much as we can with what we got. Thought I heard hounds down there. I always feel bad for the people giving me rides after these trails. I usually try and have a spare set of clothes to change into, but that didn't work out due to the washing machine being broken at Franklin. So I just stopped, and it's kind of like, oh, is there something dead, or is that me? Oh, no. Okay, last little bit. The shame is the weather is going to continue to be this nice and mild for like another week. But hey, quokkas. Got a plan for quokkas. And getting Jen all happy with fish friends out in Bonaire. Okay, I vaguely remember this.
The car's on the other side of the bridge. The bathroom's on the other side of the bridge.
Okay. Byron, who is the one who gave me a ride to Table Rock and did the first part of the day with me, was nice enough to come back out, pick me up, and then drive me out to Atlanta to an airport. Not living in a big city. Though the first priority was getting me some post-trip Mexican food because he's just that sort of considerate fellow. So with a heroic assist from Byron, I was picked up at the Knock, and I am now at an airport near the Atlanta, or at a hotel near the Atlanta airport, and feeling pretty tired right at the moment. I'm doing laundry. I am enjoying some wine that Byron brought me and eating a bunch of fruit that I bought at the store. And then tomorrow morning I'm getting on a plane at 11 so I can fly to Colorado, fly to Orange County, and then fly back here a week later on the way to Bon Air. So still on the move. I am dealing with very mixed feelings about coming off trail, but this was such a successful little mini season compared with where I was a couple of months ago. Just got to be happy.